I'd like to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Now, this camera is definitely not a normal camera that we would review on Kinotika. It's a very expensive camera. It's coming in at around $5,000, a little bit more than that, actually a little bit closer to $6,000. But this is a special camera to me, and Hasselblad was kind enough to let me borrow this and do some reviews. Now, I am the first to admit I am not a professional photographer by any means, so I asked my friend Drue from Drue Photo to take this out, and sure enough, he was willing to do it. All right, so I'm here with my buddy Drue. Today we're shooting some portraits with your friend Carly. I've got the Hasselblad here in my side sack, and we're gonna just take some epic shots here in Laguna Beach. Now let's go over some of the specs of the X1D II. It's a 50 megapixel 43.8 by 32.9 millimeter CMOS sensor. It's the same sensor that we see in the X1D original. The GFX-S and the GFX-R cameras share the same sensor.
That was risky.
Having a Hasselblad?
It feels great.
Did you feel like a real professional now?
I do actually. I feel very cool. This is crazy. I'm really excited to edit.
Yes. Now when it comes to focus on this, there is a continuous autofocus mode and a single servo autofocus, but it is a contrast detection with 117 autofocus points. Now, the Panasonic system is contrast detection, and their autofocus, at least for stills, is pretty amazing. It's actually very effective and it works great. I don't know what's going on here with the X1D II. It's just not reliable. It's slow. It's hard to rely on this, and it's an issue that we ran into a lot in our shoot with Drue. Shooting with the X1D II for a little bit. What are your thoughts so far?
It's very different from what I'm used to shooting. I also shoot Canon primarily though, so.
And which one exactly?
Canon 6D, so it's actually not too bad.
So this is your first kind of mirrorless experience?
Yes. I've shot with like a Sony A7 here and there, but nothing. I feel like this is a lot different. But yeah, just overall, like looking at it through mirrorless is a little bit different.
Yeah.
The autofocus it's okay.
Yeah.
But we're also shooting like into direct harsh light, so
yeah.
But I will say I think my Canon 6D does a little bit better with the autofocusing.
Now thankfully there is a manual focus button on here with focus peaking, so you can use the EVF and manually focus your shot just to make sure that it's in focus. But I will say, at least for the style of shooting that I do, just taking pictures of my son and my family just at family events, it was a challenge to make sure that I was in focus, and I was never 100% sure. So Drue, you noticed something here? We were just talking about it.
Yeah, it's a little hot. Well, not hot, it's a little warm. It kind of feels, I would compare it to having your phone sit in the sun a little bit too long.
Yeah.
And it's kind of warm, not hot enough to obviously do anything, but warm enough to be like, oh, it's a little warm. I can tell you my Canon's never felt like this, so that's the only reason I noticed it. It's like, this guy's taking a picture of me. Wait, go back. Oh, I think I got a perfect one. That's actually, I'm very shocked by myself. That was really cool.
Hey Carly, what do you got there?
I got a Coke.
Let's crank that shutter down. Keep going.
You like shooting a live view there, Drue?
It's different. I actually make fun of live view shooters, but.
Where are you at right now, ISO-wise?
I'm at a 6400, which I don't think I'd ever push my Canon to be honest.
No, you got that focus light.
Yeah, so it lights up their face to snag focus. Ready?
All right, so we're back now from the shoot. What were some of your thoughts about the Hasselblad when you used it, and then we'll get into your thoughts when you looked at the photos on your iPad.
Using it, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot different than what I'm used to. This is what he's used to, by the way? This is the...
Used to my Canon 6D. I guess like the hardest thing was honestly focus during just shooting.
Yeah.
And the camera is very slow. And I shoot pretty slow.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a 6D. I can't shoot very fast
with
that. So I was kind of used to the slowness of it, but this is a lot slower than what I'm used to.
It's really a shame because this is the Mark II, and the original X1D was very slow, but it came out 4 years ago or something like that. So everybody was kind of hoping that Hasselblad would address this with the Mark II, and they say that it has been addressed. They say that it's been fixed. But from my own experience, it doesn't seem to be any faster. I'm sure it is if you were to do an A/B.
To be fair, we were shooting moving, subjects.
This is not
model,
the use case. I would have to say that your other style of shooting would probably be great with this.
I was going to say, I would love this for product photography and anything where it's still like landscape photography. This would be epic. I think actually some of my favorite shots were actually some of the landscape ones that I was just kind of clicking as we were walking around.
Yeah.
The ones that I nailed focus on, they were really nice. The one thing that I really noticed is how much like ability you had to like drag like shadows and your highlights and all of that. Like it was just so much more, which is awesome because I am a huge I love post-processing. It's a lot of fun. I love doing it, and so being able to have, I feel like, more to mess with. Like I'm very excited to finish some of these because just when I was grabbing like curves and like it just really was pulling stuff, being able to, I could pretty much knock down all of the highlights because we shot directly at the sun, and it was pulling down all the highlights to where you could see just the circle of the sun, and it didn't look awful.
The real elephant in the room is the fact that this camera doesn't exist in a vacuum and is competing with Fujifilm with their GFX 50R and the 50S. The 50R in particular is coming in at right at $4,000, and the X1D II is coming in at $5,750. It's crazy because the 50R is definitely chunkier than this. I did a hands-on at Photokina last year comparing it to the original X1D, so you can see that B-roll footage now. The X1D is still smaller in size, but the 50R is definitely not as big as the 50S, and it's at a great price point, right at $4,000. It has the exact same sensor as this, so all the things I just said about the RAW and being able to pull your shadows and highlights down, that does apply to the Fuji as well. Anyways, thanks again, Drue, for being a part of this little video.
It was a lot of fun. It was a blast.
And make sure to follow Drue on both Twitter and Instagram at Drue Photo. His stuff is amazing. Shoot him a DM on Instagram and say, hey, I watched the Kinotika video and I love the stuff that you did with Dave. So let him know.
Be on the lookout for that. I will love all of those messages, actually. That'll make my day, honestly. Sure.
So, I think overall, I just want to sum everything up with, this is an incredible tool for special people. It's for people who need that high-end brand recognition like Hasselblad, like somebody who is taking celebrity portraiture, and this goes really nicely with a suit and tie. Somebody who wants the best image quality and doesn't care about super fast, lightning quick autofocus. This is it. I mean, this is some of the best image quality that I've ever taken, that's for sure. And this sensor still is amazing. Is it worth spending the money on this? And is it better to just save your money and maybe buy a used X1D version 1? Yeah, I think that if you are in the market for this style of camera, and again, if speed is not something that is essential to you, but you just care about the best image quality possible and at a small, comfortable size that you can carry around with you everywhere you go, then maybe consider looking into buying a used X1D on eBay. You're only getting a little bit of a speed increase with this, and of course the new tethering options that you get with the iPad Pro and stuff like that. So I think honestly, at the end of the day, if you want medium format at this size with a nice beautiful Hasselblad logo on top, consider getting the X1D version 1. Now, before you go out and spend $5,000 on the new Hasselblad X1D, look into learning how to use that camera with Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community for creators with more than 25,000 classes in design, business, and more. Memberships will give you unlimited access so you can join the classes and communities that are just right for you. If you click the link below, you can get 2 months free of Skillshare, and then after that, it's only around $10 a month. It's never too late to learn something new, no matter what experience level you're at. So check out Skillshare, a perfect place to keep you learning and thriving. Once again, I'm Dave Mays. This is Kinotika. See you next time.